So in my list earlier, I mentioned one of the benefits of having advisory services is that you can actually add on solutions that you don't have to be an expert in. One of those solutions here that we're going to talk today is business valuations. Firm owners, and even if you're just, you're not offering it right now, this is a great way to offer the service either as a value add or by charging for it. All you need is, again, you just need to offer it to the client, put the word out there, have a meeting to discuss their situation, and then just close the deal. You just at that point gather the documents, and even a non-accountant can basically, just put in the data in there to the technology, and you get the results. So on my end, the reason I added business valuation services is that I've always, wondered how they do valuations. I'm usually, as a controller, I did do a lot of the financial analysis, but the valuation piece was a little bit of something I hadn't worked on before. And when I, found out about, valuation technology, it was like, great. I'm like, if I could offer this service and I don't have to really go and spend another God knows how many hours learning a brand new section of, accounting, I can do that. And it would be such a great thing for my clients as well. And of course, I use some of these. Again, I can sell the service, or one of the things I actually did was created a whole system where I use business valuations as a starting point. Jennifer mentioned earlier, I created a valuation MT methodology, and that's basically by using one of these services. So that's where I'm at, and I think we have another polling question.
Yeah, we do. Marie, do you want to save questions for the end, or do you want to tackle a couple right now? We definitely have time to do so.
Oh, we can do the polls. I think it's in the line. I just don't want to, go ahead or behind by any means.
Oh, for sure. No, we're good on time. And this may have been a question prior to you explaining what some of your advisory services were that you started offering, but just some of the basics. And I think you mentioned, those one-on-one coaching sessions, and if there were any other ones that you want to elaborate on that you didn't already mention, that was one of them.
Yeah, absolutely. So let me see. Is there Okay, there's some questions there, but I'm going to come to that afterwards, I think. So, all right, I'll cover a little bit of why I did this, and a little bit about the methodology that I mentioned. In 2020 is when I started my firm. Prior to that, I was, I started my career as an auditor, and then I went into private accounting, became a controller, a chief admin officer, and a CFO for a small nonprofit. I call it small, but maybe it was medium-sized. But so it was really great experience. I learned so much from the operations, handling so many different areas. But again, valuation was something that always in the back of my mind. And then I started consulting in end of 2018, 2019. And during 2019, I actually had a client that needed some valuation services. And so I started building a little bit kind of on my own, doing research and putting some things together to build that out. But again, that was one of the reasons. It was always in the back of my mind. I wish I had something that was a lot faster, that I did not have to put in so much effort to build it in Excel. So 2020, I started the business. And 2021 is when I got to connect with Biz Equity. We had a conversation, and I realized the technology is so intuitive and so easy to use that to add that as a service would be like a no-brainer to me. So right away, I signed up. Literally, I think on the first call, I signed up and I started offering the service. I promoted it. I've helped a few people actually purchase some businesses using Biz Equity as a valuation method. But then it also prompted me to create my methodology, and I'm happy to share. And if that helps others to kind of think through how they can do theirs, so I start with this methodology is meant for for businesses that are slightly large, bigger, maybe they already hit their 2 million, they're in a little bit of a chaos, they're growing fast, but they don't have structure, they don't know their value, they need money, all the different pieces that happen when they hit that. So this package would offer to do pretty much everything for them. So it'll start with valuing their business. I use biz equity for the valuation. Actually, it gives us 4 different valuations, which I'm not going to cover because Mike's going to cover that, and some KPIs. And from there, I would actually, which kind of happens at the same time, is a lot of times I would get documents that just didn't make sense. So, which I figured, okay, if I'm not getting good documents, that means I need to have the next step should be really look into the accuracy of these, financial statements. And then, building out, how to figure out their cash flow, set up some, cash flow management system, and then help them maybe, let's say if they're not using value pricing, how I can help the client build some value pricing into their business. And then establishing policies and procedures. I know as an auditor, that was something we would always look for. And one of my clients during my consulting phase was already at $5 million, and they were not making money because they had no policies. They didn't know who was doing what, who's authorizing what. There was no systems in place at all. And of course, continuously analyzing financial data to their budget or their forecast. That's very important. Building out, let's say, a forecast while we're working together, analyzing, trimming down any costs, increasing profit drivers. So if they have only one or two, let's say, services or whatever it is in the inventory, how to build that up to be multiple so that they're not relying on 1 or 2 different services to build their revenue. Operate efficiently and effectively. So this is where we could bring on board, some of the as we're looking through their operations, where are the redundancies, where are problems happening in their business that we should, help them reconfigure. And this also helps with the saving costs as well. And then help them navigate a structured growth map that would be literally following the forecast and continuously building that forecast to be more robust and really, help the business owner understand what is going on in the business. Monitoring success. This is something we will do together as their main resource. I would be the one doing the meetings and looking at how they're succeeding. And if something is off, then we're going to have to tweak either the forecast or the action. Something is off. We got to talk about it. And then, of course, when they start growing their business further, how they're going to protect their wealth. This is where we'll bring in, more of the tax side of the business, my colleague to bring in more of the tax planning services in. So this has become my methodology and of course, now an e-course to help businesses completely transform. And it really started with just getting biz equity as a tool to use to see where they stand. And this process will help businesses actually build the value of their business, and will repeat the valuation every year. So this is the methodology that I used and I created. So yeah, this is how I came up with it. My own advisory services.